Support WrestleTalk!
Donate on Patreon.
Does Big Cass need a new gimmick? I'm Ollie Davis, this is Luke Owen. Welcome to the SmackDown review edition of WrestleRamble, where we're going to start off talking about that 7-foot-tall wrestler, Big Cass, who was away for about 9 months because he got injured about a month or two into his heel turn and first ever singles push away from Enzo Amore. Remember him? Real One, you might know him as now in his successful rap artist career.
The Phoenix.
Hip-hop legend, as Coachman would probably call him. And he's come back and he's been inserted into a very high-profile feud. It's Daniel Bryan's first singles feud since he's come out of retirement. And the whole thing with Big Cass is that he's big.
Yeah, and I suppose this is where this really comes into. You and I were trying to work out what we were going to talk about for this week's episode of SmackDown Live, and really the only thing that is kind of worth talking about on this show, although I didn't hate the show, I actually thought the show was actually pretty good.
Just not very newsworthy.
Is that I am so sick and tired of seeing Cass cut promos about how he's tall. Like, it's just, since he's come back, it's all he's done. And every time you get to a promo, you're like, cool, what's it going to be? Oh, yep, you're tall. I get you. What's the game? You've got a fairground ride thing with you this time. And that's something about you being tall as well. And it just feels that I try to picture the WWE writer's room in SmackDown, where they get their format together and then someone goes like, oh, we haven't got Big Cass doing anything this week. And they're like, yeah, I know, but like, we need to get down to the pub and I've got things to do. The TV's on, like we need to go and watch some stuff, and they're like,
"That's a great Road Dogg impression."
It's like he's here in the room, and it's like, he just talks about being tall, and they just quickly slot it in there, and it's like just copy and paste from week to week to week, and it's like he can do promos. I like Big Cass promos, but just give him different material, like just other than just being, oh, by the way, I am tall.
I just want to clarify my Road Dogg joke there. That was a joke at the hashtag #FireRoadDogg tweets. Not that I think Road Dogg's bad or the man responsible for the sometimes declining quality of shows.
It's always good to clarify jokes.
Yes, because otherwise they won't be funny.
No.
Yeah, you got to explain them. So, Big Cass, so let me pose this to you, Luke.
Please do.
Would you be so against or tired of Big Cass's character if he wasn't in a feud with Daniel Bryan and he was instead in a mid-card feud with Ty Dillinger?
No, because it's not the fact that he's cutting these promos on Daniel Bryan. He could be cutting these promos on Ty Dillinger as well. The content of the promo is still the same, which is I am tall.
But would the content annoy you as much?
Yeah, because it's the same. He did this exact same promo last week.
I don't know. I got a kick out of it because when he started off with SmackDown was in Memphis, and this was Big Cass's backstage promo where Renee Young did the classic one question. She asked him one question, held the microphone to his face.
This is last week.
No, this is this week.
This week he was on his own.
No. Renee Young started the segment.
Did she?
And Big Cass just went, "I'll take it from here, Renee."
Okay.
And Renee just disintegrated off, and he took the mic and stood there and talked to the camera.
Right.
It's like, what is the point of Renee Young? We like her. Anyway,
could have had Jerry do that.
Yeah, get 3 lines out of him rather than 2. And Big Cass looks directly into the camera and he starts talking about Memphis, because that's where SmackDown was from, and how he went to the local fair to open a new ride. And I was like, this is goofy. Where's this going? Because I couldn't quite figure out what he was going to say. I thought he was going to make fun of carnies and Memphis. And then he went over to the height thing, and I thought, I didn't see that. I know it's obvious in retrospect, but I didn't see that particular way of saying how tall he is this week. And I honestly, I think if this was a mid-card feud with a Ty Dillinger or even a Randy Orton, and it wasn't pushed so heavily in a main event level, and we would both be sitting here going, Big Cass did another tall thing this week.
But okay, so as a counterpoint to that, if Alexa Bliss had done more of these Moments of Bliss promos that she did, and I really liked the Moments of Bliss promo that she did, but if she had done them like 6 weeks in a row, by the time you got to the 6th week, you'd be like, actually, I'm a little bit tired of this now.
So that ran for about 3 weeks.
I think she only did 2 of them.
Yeah, maybe. And Cass has just done 2 of this. He did the interview last week in front of the crowd.
Yes, but he's been doing this promo since he came back. That's my point, is that all he's had is just the exact same promo with a different background. Like, if he had done the things like, they asked me to open up these rights, you know why? Because I'm a star, Daniel Bryan, and you're not. Like, and I am a star for X, Y, and Z. That's a different promo. Like, you can do things around that. Like I said in the SmackDown review, like, he could talk about how much he hates Daniel Bryan. That would be a different promo. How he feels that he's a bigger star. That's a different promo. How he didn't have to do the indies like you did. I didn't have to go to Japan. I walked into the WWE. That's a different promo. This is the exact same promo he did last week. It's the exact same promo he did when he came back from injury. That's my problem with it. There's nothing new about it. I'm sick of hearing him say, "I am tall."
Sounds like a small man's complex to me.
Well, I am.
Problem.
I am 5'10".
Honestly, I totally see where you're coming from. It's not getting to me as much. What's getting to me is the fact that he is at the level he is on the card.
I really don't think that's an issue. For me, it's not.
With that character.
I don't think it's. I don't. That for me is.
So it's not the content of his promos.
It is the content of the promo, but it's not. It's not his position on the card that annoys me. It's just the fact that he's been cutting the same promo now for what feels like 8 weeks.
But it's tied into each other. So the content of the promos is that he's tall. His character really is just that he's tall. And I don't think being tall is a main event program caliber gimmick.
It's not.
So it is his character, and that is...
Yeah, but I think that Cass's position on the card is fine. His character needs a refresh, hence the title of this video. I don't mind Cass being in a high-profile feud, because he can cut a really good promo, and he has got a presence about him. I don't mind him being into that upper mid-card position, but just give him give him some new content when cutting promos.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the opposite side to that, I think. I like his character, but I think it's a lower mid-card
You want
gimmick.
to see him feuding with Ty Dillinger as opposed to Daniel Bryan.
Occasionally Jeff Hardy for the US title. A championship I forgot existed until this week.
Poor old Jeff. He has been injured for a while.
So what have you... Because we don't want to just present problems.
Well, no,
have you got any solutions?
Well, that's
for
why
the
I suddenly
character?
had this like revelation then, where I was like, I felt like yesterday I was the one that was coming across as the negative Nelly, and then today, I'm not, because I did enjoy this show. We just needed to find something to talk about, and this was about the only thing that was newsworthy to talk about, and it's just that I don't like him talking about the same thing over and over again. But anyway, I actually think that a Cass promo is him in the suit, him talking about being a star, essentially doing like I don't want to say a watered down version of, but like the Triple H Evolution character he had, which is just like, guys, look at me, I'm an absolute star. There's a reason why this company should be built around me. Look how great I am. Like, that's a much better character, and a more interesting character. That's one that certainly doesn't fall down as much when he just has consistently lost since he came back.
Well, that's the other side of it, and that these promos would be a lot more bearable if he wasn't beaten so one-sidedly at Backlash and then on SmackDown 2 weeks later.
Yes.
So I don't know what I would repackage Cass as, because I wouldn't put him as a killer.
No,
because he's a bit too bland for that. I like him in a suit. So maybe there's something there. Corporate Cass.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, SmackDown only has one authority figure. He could be like some form of police chief.
He could be, yeah.
Police chief Cass.
I mean, I don't want to use the word constable because I don't think WWE would ever use that word because it's a ridiculous word to use.
Yeah.
But something along those lines.
Detective Inspector Cass.
Sheriff Cass.
Sheriff Cass isn't bad. But he's from New York.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sheriff Austin works because he is, he was the bionic redneck. So you'd need to find like a good New York term.
New York stereotype to play off of.
Yeah. Sausage vendor.
Hot
dog vendor.
That's a crap gimmick right there.
The hot dog vendor.
We don't have the answer. So please tell us below how we can fix Big Cass. But for the meantime, let's get on to the main review.
It's a SmackDown review, Maggle. I love it. We got us a flying Uso.
I don't know if this is the same for the rest of the SWAF Nation, but you've ruined a lot of women's segments for me because whenever I see how SmackDown started this week, because WWE like to play this format a lot. In my head, I start singing and then it comes out loud. Women standing in a row.
Yeah.
SmackDown women standing in a row.
Yeah, sorry about that.
But that's how it started. It was the much anticipated Women's Summit.
Thank God they weren't on ladders. I mean, it wasn't as visually dynamic, but it made more sense.
Well, a summit is like a peak, isn't it? It's a mound. It's something above everything else. I guess a summit is also a kind of meeting. There's two definitions of it.
Yeah.
I just did. Yeah. I mean, I didn't want them on ladders.
This segment,
but I also felt cheated that they weren't.
So Paige was out here with the SmackDown side of the women's Money in the Bank. So you had Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Lana, and Naomi out there. And despite the fact that two of these women in particular have sort of been feuding with each other, everyone was just sort of standing in a row and saying why they were going to win Money in the Bank. And
next to each other as well.
Next to each other,
like,
yes.
It would make more sense for Naomi and Lana to be opposite,
yes,
and Becky and Charlotte to be opposite.
Oh, we'll come to them later. We will come to them later. So anyway, they're all standing there, and Charlotte says, like, look, I was NXT champion, I was Divas champion, I was Raw Women's champion, I've been SmackDown Women's champion. I haven't been Money in the Bank yet, so that I'm gonna win. And Becky Lynch she cut a promo saying, like, I'm sick and tired of saying I was SmackDown Women's champion. I am going to be SmackDown Women's champion, which I thought was a really nice character beat for her.
Lynch had a great promo.
Oh, she's so good,
really good.
She's a great promo. But anyway, they all started saying why they were going to win, and then I've missed these two. The IIconics came out. I felt like we haven't seen them in a while. I mean, I know I missed 2 weeks of TV, but were they on there?
No, they weren't. It was all Absa. Hey, do you want to hear my new gag?
Oh, please do, because I can't think of one.
Absolution. It's not very good.
No, it's so much.
And it's awkward to write in my notes. It takes a lot longer to write than Absolution. But they're not called Absolution anymore.
No.
I still call them that.
Absolution, I like that. I might even steal it. I really enjoyed that. But anyway, so the IIconics came out. Wonderful to see them back again, to hear that music. And they did one of their trademark brilliant impressions. And they made fun of Becky Lynch and her Irish accent.
Almost as good as my Irish accent.
Almost.
I like how Peyton points out at the end, I'm Irish! After doing her Irish
and
voice,
doing like a little jig and everything like that. And I like that Billie Kay also made sure to mention that this place smelled. Like, that was almost the first thing she said when she came out. Was like, by the way, your town smells. And that's great. And then so they did these impressions. Then did impressions of Charlotte. Then did impressions of Lana and Naomi dancing. Including, because Billie Kay did the impression this time, including doing her version of Naomi's entrance theme.
Did you, so when they were going to do an impression of Naomi, did you kind of like tense a bit, like, where are they going?
Oh, Ryan Ward, what have you done?
But it was it was okay.
It was very funny. And then Absolution came down, and it was at this point you're like, oh, well, there's 4 of them on a ramp and 4 of them in the ring. I think where this is going, and it did. And it came into this sort of big brawl, and then. I mean, maybe it was just me that found this really odd. The brawl didn't end. Mm-hmm. The camera just stopped filming the brawl and went to the commentators who weren't paying attention to it.
They were kind of dismissively laughing.
Yeah, they were like,
girls will be girls.
They're having a brawl. Anyway, later on tonight, we've got these matches, and I'm like, they're having a fight up there.
Yeah.
Like, why did we... Like, it was so weird. It's such an odd transition.
Really undermined it, cutting to the commentators like that. And it also... If this was a couple of months ago... Bobby Roode would then make his entrance.
Yeah.
It was that kind of... It was just a weird way to flow from one segment into the other.
I was going to say my other option for a title for today's video, or talking point for our opening segment, was going to be WWE... should WWE take their women's division more seriously? Because this and the end of the women's match really did, like, it left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, there's an argument for that. But I fully expect... Ronda Rousey, Nia Jax to be the main event this Sunday.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I think that's what's going to get the spot.
Man.
Yeah, especially if Natalia's cashing in.
Yeah, that's a bold statement.
I just don't see why you wouldn't. Ronda Rousey...
Well, Ronda didn't main event WrestleMania.
But that's WrestleMania, and you had a Roman Reigns to get over.
Well, you got a Roman Reigns to get over here. He's facing Jinder Mahal.
Now, I honestly... I would be surprised, and I would actually think it's a bad decision to not make that the main event. That's going to get you the most mainstream publicity.
I mean, you're not wrong. I hadn't considered it, but actually, that's probably a pretty good shout.
There's one more bit to talk about on this segment before we move on.
Yeah,
and that is Lana's character. Because, like Big Cass has needs a new character, Lana's made her own one up. She doesn't seem to be Russian anymore.
No, she goes from like week to week. She changes it. Like when she came back to SmackDown, when she teamed up again with Rusev Day, she dropped her accent. Then the following week had the accent again, and it's almost like, do you remember in Captain America: Civil War when the Russo brothers sat down and spoke to Elizabeth Olsen, was like, yeah, you know that accent you did in Age of Ultron? Like, don't do that. But you can't just drop it completely, so do sort of an accent. And then when it came to Infinity War, they were like, just don't bother with it.
She's been living in America for years.
Yeah, for at least 2 years.
Yeah, her accent's adjusted. Seems like she's been going off to Scotland a lot, so maybe that's had an influence.
So yeah, so just drop the accent a little bit. We then got the Twitter promo from Daniel Bryan that was not shown on TV last week, but really should have been. So it was shown on TV this week.
I think it was filmed after.
Yes.
That's why.
It was great. And then we got Daniel Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin, a first-time matchup on SmackDown Live. It was a pretty decent little TV match, actually. I really enjoyed it.
Well, SmackDown's roster is so stacked that it's almost impossible not to have these weird dream matches, especially with the kind of guys they've brought back from the past. Jeff and Shelton, and Randy is, if he wasn't out injured.
Is he injured?
Yeah, he's injured, yeah. He went off for surgery. He's out until SummerSlam.
Oh, man.
You were in a cupboard, so that's probably why I don't know. And then you've got Bryan returning, so he's missed out on a load of matches. Loads of fresh matchups, and loads of really good combinations. And all of them, you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind a pay-per-view program out of any of these.
Well, I said in the SmackDown review, I'd love to see a pay-per-view match between Bryan and Shelton Benjamin, where you're given a little bit more time, because like as good as this was, it was a TV match, but I thought they did really well with the minutes. They maximised their minutes. Some good reversals in there, and Bryan won with the heel hook.
Yes, so it was a really nice finishing sequence where he had the yes lock in, Bryan did, and then Benjamin turned that into a single leg crab, and that's when Bryan rolled that through to get the heel hook. So they're really pushing the heel hook as Bryan's new finisher, because Benjamin tapped almost immediately. And I just watching Bryan, every time I watch a Daniel Bryan match, I just write in my notes, he's so good. He's so good. I missed him so much. And the other bit of the story was Benjamin was working over Bryan's knee. So I don't know if that will play into Money in the Bank.
One would hope so.
With the Big Cass. Hey, speaking of Money in the Bank,
I believe it's free.
It's free for new subscribers. Todd Phillips said this twice in a 20-second span.
Well, you got to get over the gimmick, brother.
Yeah, but
people, you got to remember as well, people tend to tune out WWE commentators. So if you got to say things multiple times just in case you manage to it just kind of seeps through into your out tuning.
They should have words appear on the screen as they say it.
Oh man, do you remember when they used to
That's
do that?
That's another way of doing. Yeah,
they haven't done that for a while.
Good riddance.
Do you remember the Usos with their prison graphics when they were doing their promo?
Oh my lord, Lockdown. Chung. I never want to see that again.
No, it was awful.
Unless it's a parody video, in which case that'll be an obscure reference in a year's time. Then we got Paige West Winging it.
Yep, she was backstage and she was walking along. Asuka was there, and Asuka said that she wanted to face Carmella tonight rather than at Money in the Bank. And Paige was like, baby girl, I'd love to be able to do that, but baby girl, it's at Money in the Bank. So, and then she was like, well, how about I add you into the 10-woman tag match tonight, baby girl? And then that's what they did. So Asuka was like, it's good news for me, bad news for Carmella. And walked up and was like, yeah, that's quite nice. And then she walked over, and then she, as you said, West Winged it. She found Miz in a referee's gear, practicing being a referee. And she was like, what are you doing? And Miz announced that he was auditioning for a new movie. And he had to think of a title quickly on the spot, and he went, rough ref. And it's a film about a dog who is going to be a referee in the main event of WrestleMania, and Miz is going to play the trainer. And I suddenly thought, I'd watch that film. I would totally 100% watch that film. I would watch that more than the Marine 7.
Miz just needs to make this movie by himself.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got enough clout with WWE Studios. A little half-hour short movie thing to go on the network.
We can put a poster for it in Kurt Angle's office.
Yes, it's free.
Yeah.
Oh, I really hope they do that. But Paige doesn't have an office. She walks around a lot. She's got a Fitbit. She needs to get the steps up. But anywhere else backstage that they could put a poster of Rough Ref.
Rough Ref. It's so good, and especially because then Corey Graves throughout the night kept talking about like, oh, I can't wait to see Rough Ref.
Like it's a real movie.
It's a real film.
So I was a bit confused about this. So Miz talked about this, and it was quite transparent what he was doing. He just wanted to be made the special guest referee for Samoa Joe versus Rusev that was coming up later in the night.
He's trying to stir the pot.
And Paige effectively says no.
Because she saw through his ruse.
But then she says yes.
Yeah,
then Miz goes, well, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, I did think it was like, oh, that'll learn him. He got what he wanted.
Yeah.
She did the same thing last week, though, where she was like, hey, no, like someone suggested a match, and she was like, nobody speaks for me, I make the matches. And then just made the exact same match. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like you're not doing anything, you're just agreeing with people, I guess.
And it's a neck injury, not concussions that she's had to retire from.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that.
But the big takeaway from this is how good my West Winging pun was. I think we've overlooked that because it's got many meanings. The West Wing shot of people walking through corridors and talking, and she's winging it. She's booking on the fly. But that's fine. That's fine. But the other thing is that Rough Ref is now a canon. We are going to push that to be made.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on the West Wing?
I've never seen it.
Oh, no. That's a good show.
No, I really, really want to. It's one of those... I love Aaron Sorkin and all his scripts, all those words that he writes down.
Yes, he is very good at doing his words.
Yeah, really good at words.
Fun fact for you, the cast were obviously asked to go to the White House, but Martin Sheen, isn't it? He's not allowed to go. He wasn't allowed to go to the White House because he had been arrested for protesting against sort of political powers back in his rebellious youth, and he's not allowed to go to the White House.
Rock and roll.
And he just... Anyway, we're in Memphis, so guess what? Jerry Lawler's here. And so Jerry Lawler came out and he interviewed AJ about Money in the Bank, about the Last Man Standing match, and particularly about him slapping Shinsuke Nakamura last week. And AJ said that he is sorry for slapping him. Sorry he didn't do it harder, that sort of thing. And then said that he'll be the last man standing. I didn't think this was the most effective way, your effective final push for this match.
Yeah. They had a video package before it, which was very good. But yeah, like you said, this is the go-home show. This is one of the featured matches on the card. I mean, is this what you assumed would main event?
I hadn't actually given much thought. I think I just assumed Roman and Jinder would, but
in Chicago,
Roman and Joe did.
Yeah, but that was Backlash. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can't see that happening. I cannot see that happening.
They'd be idiotic to do it in Chicago. You're absolutely right.
But it's I really commend them for using Lawler because I love it when they bring out local heroes for stuff. It's a really seamless way to get over the history of WWE, and it's just a nice treat for people who like the attention to detail and things like us. But yeah, Lawler was just generic interviewer number 3. He had no personality because he wasn't allowed to. And he just asked 2 questions and held the mic there. Why couldn't he do like a King's... Why? You know what? He should have done the Women's Summit. That would have been a great rib. Him just looking there, oogling, talking to chests rather than faces.
Talking about kitchens and getting barefoot and pregnant and all that.
Obviously, it's going to be a smaller ladder. But are you still worried about climbing it?
But yeah, it was... you're right, actually. Him holding like a sit-down interview with AJ and Nakamura that could have led to a brawl between the two. They got physical. Maybe AJ again loses his head, loses his cool because, as you told me last week, that's the storyline you've been telling. But that storyline wasn't here this week. AJ was just like, "No, I'm going to win."
Yeah,
and that was it. And then in the Nakamura segment, we didn't see AJ there. But if you'd have had another segment where Nakamura wound him up and AJ attacked him, he lost his cool once again. But again, I still don't think it works for a last man standing. But that's by the by. We had that conversation last week. But like that would have at least felt like something more. Like it felt like this week, apart from that video package, they didn't really do much to build towards the match.
Yeah, and Lawler still wrestles week in, week out in Memphis. I know WWE wouldn't really let him take a bump because of the heart attack issue from, well, it must have been like 3-4 years ago now. Quite a while ago.
Quite a while ago, yeah.
But like, you know, if it was a Piper's Pit style thing and he took a bump off a stray AJ hook, and it's like, oh, AJ's too emotional, he's like hit this legend.
Just hit the king.
And Nakamura doesn't even have to do anything. He's just sitting there laughing.
Yeah, totally. And then, guess what? The king could have actually built that up and then on the pre-show, on the panel show, use that as part of his character. Be like, hey, man, I've seen what AJ's like in the ring when he loses his cool. And, I don't know, built a storyline out of it.
Yeah, well... Do it better, WWE.
Yes, and we also got the announcement that the Good Brothers versus the Bludgeon Brothers will be on the pre-show. I mean, one of them had to go on the pre-show, and I was unsurprised it was this one.
Which is kind of good in a way, because they'll probably get more time.
Pre-show matches, they still only get like 7 minutes, because you've got to do all of the...
10, 15.
Do you get 10, 15 minutes? I always said that might go like 7 minutes
We get a commercial break in the middle.
Yeah, I
suppose,
but overall...
But yeah, I think that pretty much telegraphs there is no title change happening there. Predictions, by the way, will be going up on, either Thursday or Friday, and my jacket is on the line.
Yes, and if I lose, there will be another punishment. We don't know what that is just yet.
No, I still have to do it's a joint punishment. We have to wait for General Manager Grado to reveal it to us.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And your jacket is in addition to, I see.
Because the jacket is for me getting out of so many punishments in the past.
And the jacket that is so important to you, you only wear it on for certain videos.
It gets hot. It's not the most breathable fabric.
Well, we don't have any air conditioning in this room. Anyway, I was going to say something else about them, but we'll move on. That was actually, because a lot of people were predicting, like when we were talking about like Where Our Sanity, a lot of people going like, you idiots, they're clearly debuting at Money in the Bank. Now that they're on the pre-show, I would have assumed that they're not. I mean, stranger things have happened, but we'll find out. Then we got Samoa Joe versus Rusev in another first-time matchup with The Miz as the special guest referee. And again, this was pretty good, solid action. I thought the finish was particularly great.
So great Aiden English intro as usual.
So good.
And Joe just looked scarier. And I think it's because of his hair.
I was going to say, he's got a new haircut now. He saw that Baron Corbin got a haircut and was like, mate, I'm going to get a haircut too. And I'm going to look terrifying once I've had it done. And he does look just like super scary at the moment. And they're going with this new kind of gimmick character for him. They're calling him the Samoan Assassin, I think is what they're putting him over on commentary as. And I was thinking, like, I was writing on my script for this Saturday's video. And I just thought, like, the Samoan Assassin with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Like, I really like the idea of that.
He's my pick.
He's your pick, yeah?
I really want him to win. I mean, when we sit down and do the predictions, I'm actually going to treat it like I'm going with my head. I'm not going with my heart for any of these because I want to keep the jacket. It's my thing. I'm going to feel quite, I've got hairy arms. They'll be exposed on the news. I really want Joe to win it. I think he will benefit most, and it would just be a really good storytelling device to use through the rest of the year.
Completely agree. He's got a terrifying new haircut. Although this was a heel versus heel with heel referee, I thought they actually worked quite well into getting people into the match and kind of making you root for certain people. I mean, the crowd are always going to root for Rusev Day, but I thought they worked this really well. And I said I really liked the finish, which was the Miz got bumped in the corner by Joe, then he wouldn't count Joe's pinfall. And then when Miz was pointing at him, Joe, like the badass that he is, just grabbed his finger and I was like, how? It was
joint manipulation.
So awesome. And then Rusev out of nowhere hit the match kick and got the pin. Didn't hurt Joe in any way. Doesn't hurt Rusev. Rusev gets the rub of beating him. Doesn't hurt the Miz either because Miz then laid out Rusev with the skull-crushing finale, climbed the ladder and grabbed the briefcase.
The briefcase.
The briefcase. He grabbed the
Sports.
He grabbed the beefcase.
A beefcase.
And anyway, he took the beefcase down to the commentators.
It's now canon. And rough ref and beefcase.
Beefcase has to be like his surname in the. He's like John Beefcase.
Rough beefcase.
Anyway, he takes the beefcase down to the commentator's desk. He's like, "Look at me! I'm going to cash in the contract. Open it up and see the contract," which is very contrived. It would have just been so much better if he'd have opened it. But anyway, Byron Saxton opened it and revealed that it's actually pancakes in there. And then Miz doing an amazing sell job, got on his knees and just went, "New Day!" It was really funny.
It was levels. I mean, can I spoil Seven? The movie that's been out for 2 decades.
Well, I don't know. I got in trouble for spoiling Stranger Things. And even then I didn't even spoil Stranger Things. I said a moment that happened. And I got a tweet from someone saying, like, can you stop spoiling things on the show?
I was thinking this about Infinity War. I don't have much patience for people who say, don't spoil it for me. I haven't seen it yet. It's been out 4 weeks now.
Still in the cinema. It's
Yeah.
past $2 billion.
I feel like that's not my fault that you haven't seen it now, and I want to talk about it to everyone.
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's up to you to leave the room when I start talking. I don't have to say, has everyone seen it?
I don't know. I'm a like at least 6 month kind of guy.
For some films, sure. Not for the film that everyone's seen on the planet.
Yeah. Well, like for example, like I haven't seen Breaking Bad. I know what happens at the end though because I was watching The Daily Show and your man Trevor Noah like revealed the ending of it and then went like, sorry if I've spoiled that for anyone, but you have missed out on one of the best TV shows ever made. And I thought to myself, I was like, well, that's my own fault because I kept saying I was going to watch it and I never got round to it. So I've got no one to blame but myself.
Sopranos' ending was ruined for me by a Family Guy joke. But knowing that was coming kind of mitigated the disappointment. So it actually worked in its favour.
So it's like, can you really spoil the ending of The Sixth Sense? Because I think that's now just part of sort of like pop culture lexicon.
Darth Vader is Luke's father.
That sort of thing.
Yeah,
totally.
Anyway, I was going to say 7. Brad Pitt finds his wife's head in a box at the end. And it was like Miz, that I felt like it was similar to when Miz was like, no!
Which is funny because my first thought was Khan. That's where my mind instantly went to was...
But then it cuts backstage to the New Day, who... Usually I would find this annoying. Like when people over-laugh to this degree, I'm like, okay, it's not really for me. It's a bit juvenile. But this was so funny. Just the way they were overselling the laughter.
And the fact that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston were wearing the same T-shirt. Not identical T-shirts, the same T-shirt. They were just had both their heads coming out the one hole. It was such an odd visual. Because the New Day aren't there. They're not there at the moment. They're at E3, taking on the Elite on Street Fighter V. Which is, I think that's today actually.
Oh, Thursday.
Is it Thursday?
Thursday. So I read on Reddit, can't remember who posted it, but they posturized that maybe Xavier and Kofi will be entering Money in the Bank as one person.
Do you know what? Well, I had this idea, and I don't want to give spoilers away for the Saturday video if anyone actually watches them. But I had this idea of like whoever gets entered into the Money in the Bank ladder match and wins as a member of the New Day, that member hasn't won the briefcase. The New Day have won the briefcase. And then so like any one of them could cash it in at any one time.
That is very selfless.
And then if one of them did, win the WWE champion, they actually treat it the same way they treat the tag belts. And it's Freebird rules. The New Day are the WWE champion.
That's really cool. The traditionalist in me doesn't like it for a top title, but maybe they can cash in on the US title if that's still around. I don't know.
Well,
haven't seen it for a bit.
We're going to come up to him in a second, I suppose. In fact, we're getting to him now because it is Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura, another first-time matchup on SmackDown Live. And this was also pretty good, but it was all really built around the finish, which was Nakamura giving Jeff Hardy the low blow and then gave him the Kinshasa and counted to 10 to show that he has got the move that can lay someone out for 10 seconds so he can win the last man standing match. I thought this was pretty good, but it would be better if they could do it on pay-per-view with an actual finish.
Yeah, so this was a weird match, and I did like it, but I just think on a go-home show, this wasn't the effective use of this match. No. Jeff Hardy doesn't have a match at Money in the Bank?
No, because he's been injured for a while, so I think they were just waiting to see when he comes back.
So why are they protecting Jeff more than Nakamura, who's fighting for the title? I think you can beat Jeff Hardy on TV and everyone not go, wow, Jeff Hardy's being buried. He's lost so much momentum. Nakamura should have won, like, really brutalized Jeff, maybe with a low blow behind the referee's back, but then put him down for a 10 count and won that way.
Or don't even do a match. It's just like, just do it as a beatdown angle. Like,
yeah.
So and that actually then still saves you that first time ever of Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
I thought this was a really ineffective go-home spot for Nakamura.
Yeah. I think it was better than the AJ promo, though.
But it's weird how they all these dream matches that have coalesced on SmackDown don't just feel fresh matchups. When you see guys like Jeff Hardy pop back up, you're like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks wrestle. Yeah. And I thought AJ hasn't wrestled for about a month on TV.
Right, wow. I mean, the Bar haven't been around for a couple of weeks now either.
Yeah, and there's an argument that that's not so much a good thing. Like, I would actually like to see Cesaro and Sheamus more featured. But in terms of keeping guys on TV but not making them wrestle every week, it's very, very good.
I think SmackDown are very good at doing that, actually. I think it's one of their real strong suits is not overexposing people. Carmella was backstage and Renee tried to interview her, but Carmella was busy doing it for the grams. And all was steady.
Oh, I just hit the mic with my cup of tea. Put that down now.
So she was doing it for the grams and then kind of promo how she was going to beat Asuka at Money in the Bank.
What was the last thing you did for the grams?
That would be the Aperol Spritz event. Although I'm not on the grams. My wife is on the grams though. But I don't know if she did anything for the grams on that from that event though. Did your
that was prime grammage.
Did your lady partner do anything for the grams?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah?
She grams everything. She grams the tube journeys.
Oh yeah?
No, not that bad. But she did a thing of her going down the slide. Mm-hmm. What's happening to our clip?
Well, I'm going to put it in tomorrow's news.
Okay.
Only because I was going to put it on today's, then I realised I'm not doing the news today, and it's on my phone, so I'll do it tomorrow.
Me and Luke went down a slide together.
We certainly did.
We lamed up that entire... It was such a cool, hip event that we went to on Saturday.
Yeah.
For Aperol Spritz in Old Street.
What's up with
Beefcakes. And everyone else was like being all cool and trendy and taking pictures on their phone and acting all schmoozy.
Wearing braces. And we were just not cool enough to be there. Like, I've watched all episodes of Queer Eye recently, so I'm like, man, I'm going to try and do much better. So I actually layered when my outfit that I wore. But even though I suddenly thought, I'm just not cool enough to be at this place.
You had a week of trend behind you. They've got a lifetime of trendiness, everyone else in that event.
Maybe.
But yeah, we decided to just ride the slide and stink up the joint.
We did. We just made the place effortlessly uncool.
Yes.
Anyway, so we then got the Big Cass promo where he talked about he was being tall, and then we got a main event of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Lana, Naomi, and Asuka versus Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, the IIconics, and Carmella in a 10-woman tag.
Absolution.
Oh, absolution. Sorry, it's because I'm reading out my notes. I haven't got that in my notes yet. My first note here is Sonya is really great.
Yes, really good.
She's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like her, and I really like the IIconics. Actually, I think the SmackDown's got a really great women's division at the moment, and actually that's really on display here when you got your top 10 women. In fact, I say your top 10, all 10 of them in one match. I thought it was really cool, and it was cool to see.
Well, 10 wrestlers for one division is a healthy amount.
Yeah,
and that's quite a deep pool of talent they've got there as well. Looking at the two sides of this ring, it really became apparent to me two things: how many baby faces are in the Money in the Bank women's match.
Alexa is the only heel.
Yeah, that's crazy. And the other thing is how all the Lana excluded don't really know what she is. Sometimes she's a heel, sometimes she's Russian. We don't know. But the baby faces are all very good wrestlers. Like some of the best female wrestlers WWE has. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Naomi. Asuka, who is, one of the best wrestlers, period, in the company. And then you look at the heel side here on the opposite side of the ring, and Mandy Rose, not good. Carmella, I'm not a fan of her in-ring work. The IIconic duo, great on promos, but I haven't been impressed by their in-ring stuff.
I like their in-ring stuff as well. Like, I thought they were, when they got some actual time to shine in NXT, I thought they were better.
Well, their stuff on the main roster so far has been quite significantly lacking, in my opinion. So that's all the heels aren't very good. And I wrote that down. I was like, apart from Deville, I really like Sonya Deville.
I really like Sonya Deville. And I actually thought this could have been a really fun 10-woman tag team match, but it was hampered by having a commercial break, which they had to stop the action for, and then one of the side screen promos for Money in the Bank. So they had to stop the action again. So actually, the match didn't really get going until the final 4 or 5 moves, which is when you just start doing big spots. And it's one of those things, again, when I kind of look back at the running order, and I'm like, totally could have just got rid of that Cass promo. And it's not like, without that Cass promo, you wouldn't be looking forward to his Money in the Bank match with Daniel Bryan. So you could have just left that off, given them more time, not put the side screen promo in there, and just let them actually have a match. No, it would have been much better.
I will defend the side screen promo. You've got the pay-per-view this Sunday. I'm not that annoyed by it, but yeah, you could drop a needless segment and give them more time overall, so you don't have to come back from commercial break and within 30 seconds do that split screen side promo for Money in the Bank as well. That was really took the pacing out of it. And that wasn't just here, it was, I think they did it in the 2 other matches in the night, which was really frustrating.
Yeah.
Because those were dream, and this is a big fun match. The other 2 matches were kind of dream matches, or the other 4 matches.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy versus Nakamura, Shelton Benjamin versus Bryan, Samoa Joe versus Rusev.
Yep.
None of them really, and it's TV. This shouldn't be their big pay-per-view blow-off. But there should, I think, at least be one really fun, good wrestling match.
I agree. Absolutely agree. And the end of this saw Charlotte doing the moonsault to the outside, where she essentially just lands on her own 2 feet. And then the IIconics took out... the Absolution took out Becky Lynch. Then Naomi came off and did a big old dive there. Carmella got a good near fall on Asuka. It looked like she actually was going to get pinned. I thought they might have a pinner, to be honest. And then Lana broke that up. Asuka got in the Asuka lock and tapped out the women's champion. And then, I mean, just in case you were worried that they might get physical and show which one of them is superior heading into Money in the Bank, they all just started hugging each other and were the best of friends.
Well, for a moment, they all hugged each other, and then they all awkwardly took a step back so Asuka was in the middle.
But before that, Naomi and Lana hugged. Naomi and Lana hugged as if like none of the last few weeks have ever happened. And it's just so frustrating. As I said in the SmackDown review, it just tells me, the audience, don't care about any of this. It doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, and it's just... You would never do this for a male feud.
No, I just hit the microphone with my
out of fury. And it really does undermine... And I'm not saying it's... I'm not saying it's out and out sexist or misogynist, but it is underlined. Like, it comes from a mindset far back in her head that, oh yeah, these are women, so they're all going to hug at the end.
Yeah.
And sure, male baby faces do it sometimes. I feel like luchadors always do it when they're being booked in WWE and
but
they're
if
teaming
they're
together.
Friends.
Yeah, you're right. And these are
these are all facing each other this weekend. Like they're in a match against each other. They're meant to be like, it's every woman for themselves. They keep putting over on commentary.
Yeah.
So like, why are they all just like hugging each other here?
I totally agree.
I was waiting for something to happen. But it didn't. As you said, they then awkwardly hit their marks and got into position, and Asuka was stood in the middle, and then Charlotte looked up the briefcase, and the camera panned up, and then the camera cut to Becky Lynch, and then she looked up, and the camera panned up with her, just to make sure we all know this is all staged and choreographed, and Asuka was stood in the middle going like, yes, Money in the Bank.
I get it. That's a visual, and just like if you're watching this out the corner of your eye or it's in the background, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of understand what's happening this weekend based on, show, don't tell.
They told me through visuals.
Yeah, and that's what they say. Storytelling's all about showing, not explicitly telling.
Exactly.
But they do it here in such an asinine, unrealistic way that you can't help but just lose all interest in it being a real thing.
Yes, that's it. It makes it feel... it makes it feel... not real. It just makes it feel really fake and phony.
It makes it feel lame.
Yeah, lame is a brilliant word to describe it. And I thought this was lame. And as I said, like, it just made me... It just tells you, like, oh, don't care about any of this because it doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, it's all a show.
It's all a show. Next week, like, nothing will have changed really. It's just one of them might have a briefcase.
And we're not saying, like, wrestling should be super realistic all the time, like the Jim Cornette school of stuff. But we are saying that when we're watching a movie, we don't want all the people who are fighting to stop and then hug and then go, ooh, but don't worry.
Yeah.
It takes you out of it a lot.
Like the final, to go back to Infinity War, the final fight in Infinity War feels like it's a big deal because at no point does there go like none of this actually matters. So
and the jokes are pared back a lot.
Exactly.
Because of that.
There are moments of levity within there, but the main thing is like everything that is happening here does matter. And that's not what I got from the end of this segment where everyone's hugging, including Naomi and Lana. And like, you're meant to hate each other, aren't you? Isn't that your whole deal at the moment? Why are you hugging?
Sorry, I was just thinking about Infinity War.
Oh, what a film, though, isn't it?
They're just the bit in the... It's a perfect way to do comedy without explicitly doing comedy in that end fight sequence. And it's when arrives for the first time in the fight, and they go, I am someone.
And the other person goes, I am someone else.
I am Steve Rogers. And it's just like, the beautiful character moments.
Yeah, it's great.
That's for me. That's the best joke in the movie.
Yeah, it probably is.
I really, really laugh at that one because it's so pure about Steve. Like that's what he's all about. He's so polite, even amidst all this stuff. An otherworldly emissary. I am Steve Rogers. Anyway, so you gave it what?
A smack bang in the middle.
Yeah, it's a smack bang in the middle.
Yeah.
I would go for the same. But that's all we've got time for today's show, so please click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk videos, and click this box to subscribe to the podcast version of this show, where you get exclusive intros and outros. I've been Ollie Davis, this has been Luke Owen, and that was Rambling.